good, Fatherhood? Welcome to another edition of Untitled. Depending on you're listening to the show or the Dad Work podcast, if you are here, you know that my vision is to create a world where dads live and show up at their full potential day in and day out, no matter what life throws at them. I'm here to empower dads to inner and outer strength, patience, presence, plan, and power in order to cycle break legacy making for themselves, for their family, for the world, be the one their families deserve. My ultimate goal is to build movement, community, uncommon depth, embody that physical vitality, mental strength, and emotional memory. Through Uncommon, I am here to create a movement that transforms the lives of hundreds, thousands of fathers. More than that, all men, women, children, the planet is effing whole. Today, we're going live with Pat Barber, the Guild. Bring him on right now, and we're gonna have a time. Here we go.
We did it, man.
We did it. We made this happen, man.
Not sure how. Not sure how. The magic of the it finally happened.
I was speculating it's retrograde. Blame it on that.
That makes total sense. I think the planet out of alignment only changes. Connection.
For sure, man. And you don't have to take any responsibility for it.
That's the move through life. Take any responsibility for anything. It's everyone's fault, and thing you can do.
Exactly. Everything's so much.
Totally.
Anyway, Pat Barber, thank you for being your husband, father, and founder of Father's Guild.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Me. I've done those things.
Those are the things that I have done. We're talking about snowball habits for this. Incremental improvements and picking up that to unimaginable changes and progress in life. And I know that a similar experience the past year and a half, and look at the last weeks, little habits do crazy growth than I had months last. So I want to all of this snowball that you're experiencing right now.
Yeah. The reason it's even on my mind at all is because you heard the concept of like habit thinking and snowball habits of like one thing, and then you go on to that. So once problem with me and my because I've never been very consistent with anything in like level competition, something that I was a job but like personal, like even grooming. I never I don't I wake up. There's times I'm not shaving. There's times I'm not washing my hair. I'm dressed a different every day. I'm like never like the things that I could stacking on. So in my life recently, I've had this weird thing where I'm able to do a lot of previously, and I'm at this place. I've taken on a bunch of little things that seem, to most people. For me, I have never been consistent taking anything like vitamin. Like I've never taken vitamin. I hate taking. I think for almost completely necessary for most people. My personal opinion, but when I'm taking, it's like very consistent. Well, I'm going to try it for a period of time, consistent, or I'm eating anyway. I'm going to consistent. But for some reason now, it's been 70 days where I've taken oil every day. What the heck? And then in addition to that, done a sauna, and I've tried a lot more. I've done this motion, and I've done things. So for some reason, something about the universe moment, I'm able to make decisions than I could, and it's awesome. So that's where I.
Yeah. So what would you say that? What say the top three powerful surprise habits that you've right now, and what the effect of that you know?
Right. I think find interesting all of this. I think what it requires is a bunch of attempts. You have to try many times throughout life to do things, fail over and over until you find the right formula. self of this is the thing I needed in order for other things to happen. People can share experience of like, I tried this and then this happened. For me, it's the first thing I did in all this, actually my no challenge. Now that if I take it back to that, was the first thing I stuck on and was doing. And then I carried that on, and then from there, in terms of the changes, it was actually a song. Finished building, and I'm so stoked that I had to be in it all. So every morning I've been in it for 20 minutes, and like I'll get up, even if I have 6 a.m. I'll 4 and jump in 4 and have a 20 minutes on it, and something like that has then allowed me to. If you said the 3 most powerful, it's been the song. It's been me not yelling at my boy, paying attention to that response. And the one would be, I don't know, those 3 are probably the most powerful for me that continue to move my other things.
Yeah, what I hear, I don't know how you feel about journaling. What I hear is that those first things that feel good, things that feel good when you do, think that there's not quite enough effort or communication put into when we adopt habits, sure that we have our intention clear, doing this because be an awesome dad to kids, give them the best ever, or be something that feels, or having it be that like that's hard, but then we get to say it afterward. I want to the uncommon thing, no yelling challenge. One, what was it like becoming aware of, and then what, like deciding to change?
Let's see. It wasn't too bad being aware of it.
There's something in the back for
that is my my wife and my 1-year-old feeding chicks that we have here.
Yes.
So in becoming aware of yelling things, and I've on other podcasts, it was not painful, because it could have been. I think I was in my life. I could see the truth that was, and it was that I'd known that I wanted to change, but laid out so poignantly for me. I interviewed my kids who were like, "I hate the most when you yell." All 3 of them like, "Hey, that's it." It wasn't surprising necessarily, and it also particularly painful, but it was meaningful in the sense that, like, very distinct, and it was this. So it gave me opportunity to be okay. If that's the case, a lot of meaning making different. So that step was very powerful in the. I would say it was powerful. The force with which, not necessarily the how it made me feel. Just a lot of very pinpoint and precise what they wanted me to do, which was yell. I was like, okay, well, that level of I can make a decision here.
Yeah, so more awareness. It was more just the fact that it was consistent.
Yeah,
it was consistent.
Yep. Yeah, it was, and it wasn't even it was a big deal. It wasn't. It was hard for me to see how that could happen, like how I could do something different. It was like, this is what you don't do this, and to see, I didn't exactly know what that would look like. I knew if I eliminated, then I've not solved, but I've addressed this concern right now.
Yeah, there's a couple of things coming up. One is, what made you sit down and ask this? It's really uncommon. I think so many of us run through life with asking our question like this without apologizing. So,
Sure.
That's crazy to some listening to this. Like, what made you want to ask a question?
I have an open line of communication with kids. I do a lot of with them, nothing off limits in terms of what they ask or how I'm going to answer. Being full's a uh, quite a thing for me to do, just because I think that's the way we should be. And I don't make things overly complex and tell them all of my personal skews on the world necessarily, but I'll be like, I'm trying to say is I don't indoctrinate kids into believing a certain thing. I want them to have more opinion. So if it's something that I'm believing, I'm going to say, hey, I think this, but Nick thinks this and thinks this, and I try to build context in ways. So I already have the open line of communication with my boy, and wife had been talking with them. Each of kind of independent of each other said a very thing, which that the was bothering, and so much like that, it came up in three ways with each kids, and it was something I could see too. My wife to me, I was like, I wonder what would happen if I asked the question, "What do you hate the most?" And be filming something for a different that I was doing, sat them down, one in the room here, and reviewed them individually, and each of each other said the same, which was yelling or yelling. And so that's how it all came about. It was pretty organic. And it was, well, yeah.
Yeah. So I can't get it enough. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they shared or your wife shared it or you, it's like, what was the impact that was on them before it came to this moment? We're all like, yeah, we don't when you yell at.
Well, I mean, I think, I don't know, people are pretty realistic when it comes to how they perceive individual interaction impacting a group being. They're like, I one thing and whole life destroyed, and I personally not of that mindset of like a single that went down going to completely alter for the worse things continue. So I might be wrong in that. My option is that if there's overwhelming positive thing, there's these moments that are a bit harder. We can be okay, and so my kids have overwhelming positive relationship with me. There is these things that we're not having the outcomes I was hoping for, and I did good after the outcomes. In addition to that, also not feeling. I got a moment respect that I wanted. Like they stopped doing something long term that I felt about that and how framed in their head was not what I was going for. So before this loved me, they respected me, and they listened to me and talked and were open with me. And after this, it was the same, but I loved myself a bit more, and I didn't have those periods of time where it was like all of a sudden I've done that I'm like, gosh, like it's not helpful. That's not, you're not moving the needle forward in this relationship and in your own life. And that was my issue that I was putting onto them. It's actually interesting because I think about the same, and who knows, the long-term impact of it will be different as they move life and they will that. But more importantly, that I know is like I feel bad, and I feel like I have the tools for hand stuff, and I feel I can navigate scenarios quite a bit different. So there's that. I think too, Chris.
So interesting. Thank you in the chat. Everybody that's here, anybody that's listening in the future, we have a live chat. So if you ever want to in and just drop statements, we'll probably bring you in not on to chat with. We'll talk about what we're talking about. I had something. Let me feel path here, and
Are you?
we all have that ability, man. Empathy, right? Feel into. Hold on 1 second. Where is it? Okay. What were the? You talked about how you have all these tools. Yeah, there you go. Ask him the question.
Tools you use working on not.
Now you have all these tools. And what was going to go was this. There's a kind of like data out there, and if put a word, if this is me words on you, you were experiencing dad guilt, like I wish I did have to react that way, and so much harder on ourselves in these moments. That really limited. That can be really when we beat ourselves up, and we can only be as passionate with our. We're willing to be ourselves in those moments, and it sounds like it's been a big shift. So, what I know is you made this commitment. What approach did you take to make a commitment? What was that like? Just like, I'm not yell again? Is that like, and what were the tools that you started to implement to change that response, change that reaction?
Yeah, and that was exactly what he was saying there. What are the tools that you use? I think tools can come in many ways. I don't do stuff with quite the same way as might. So in terms of doubt, I would feel it very deeply in the moment, and that sucks. And I'd think about it, but I didn't carry it with every interaction. That's people do. Some people really hang this stuff on, but I think that's right. You definitely need to talk about others, and you need to start to learn yourself in many ways. And there's a lot. So I was in a place of like pretty okay. And I do love myself, and I have a lot going there, but I disappointed myself in big instances, in this around yelling. And was ready to change, and was ready to be different than I currently am. And just required me create, and that was the tool that I needed to do from something happening. I'm about to respond. How do I face? How do I like find between response and for me there it wasn't space. It was I'm gonna boom. So I think there's many different ways you can create space depending on where you're at. Certain things more than others. Some people need to literally physically leave the room. Some need to take a big deep breath. Some people like tell a joke, a song, like a lot that you get in there. For me, what I to do and what I did challenge, know if it would work. For me, it worked. It worked, which was I just said yelled. I then had to pay $5 kid there in the moment. It wasn't the fact I was losing $5. It wasn't the fact that like it was a reward yelling to the kid. All these other things. It was something that was different than the whole situation where like thing would happen and I would yell, and so no space. And right afterwards, there's a like I owe him $5. I had to like grab my wallet and walk over. I made it, like where like the all of a sudden I yelled at the kid. He'd been in this anger. I have to, damn it, pull out the money, hand him a $5 bill, and that in my head is like, don't do this again because then you're paying $5. And it wasn't even the $5 meaningful. It changed the action of. And so just to what he was, what if you have space between, create that. I created a response to what happened after I yelled, which made me the time that I yelled, it gave space. Just something in my head that was like, surprise, do this again, you're going to have to pay $5 to the kid in the moment. And that gave me space because I have a way that created was going so from response happening. So I know that for everyone, but for me, literally all I was ready to change, but then within 5 minutes of me setting the challenge up, my son fell at him, and it was like boom, within 5 minutes. He wasn't trying to yell at him. Like, he aren't motivated. They would not yell. Did something. The response was so. I whipped out $5 moment, and we laughed at $5. It was like until the next was a good like days, long time, because or maybe it was like, but it was like it set my mind different. And then also interesting, after the month, I found I only yelled 4 times, and I yelled all at the exact same kid, and that's really interesting. And that happens to be the most to me. Like, I have sons, and he's the who's like the most similar to me interactions with the see what Martin put there, because they want to try to my kids like that, and the is we're still the I know a lot of that I know you might be thinking, but like your kid to yell, and it's like, as a you just say, hey, if you're trying, then it doesn't work, and you're not going to. In fact, you owe me $, and they go, my bad, and then they off. But that's the relationship with my kid. Oldest never even. My one who all the time didn't try. Who did try, a 5-year-old, tried within probably minutes of it. He came over and he started hitting me and stuff. I was like, what did you do? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to get. And in fact, try to pay me $5. And he's like, okay. So he moved. But yeah, I don't have kids yet. God.
Yes, there's an awesome thing that came out of that. One is the concept of consequences. I think that's so important, in that we're living in and coming of an age where so many of us as dads are consequence of us. Yeah. We're afraid. So many of us give our kids consequences, and that was the power of meaningful consequences. A brotherhood that mentor us to come up with meaningful consequences. You're not in insecurity, which is me being in with my brothers inside the group. And I was like, I love my mom. She can talk like no other. So if I'm not in insecurity with this, I call my mom every single day for 2 weeks, because it's challenging for me. And for you is I owe you $5 if I you. One of the things that we definitely do is with a meaningful consequence ourselves, kids as well. 2, in the with it, Beach Dog has a book called Tiny Habits, Neuroscience Behavior Change. Feels good, we're more likely to do it. So celebrate, like in your son, kid, like, hey, I didn't yell. Celebrate it. We get to wire in. And then the thing, I don't know who it was that did it, but how do we increase this? There's the mind shift. And also, you brought these other tools, taking a breath, increase the space between stimulus and response, and that's where breathwork and meditation. We did breathwork before this can come, because it's relax the system more and give you a second between stimulus and response. Also, all of these things, awesome practice to use. Thank you, brother.
For sure. And yeah. I think the interesting thing is I'm at that challenge very place that, like, life is good. Like, I think of us, my life is good. My fourth, I'm relatively, it's like there's a lot going for me that allows a little bit more mental space than others, which I envy being in those places, but I wasn't even aware of it was in those other places, you know? And when things are going on and you're so overwhelmed, like in here is talking about having two kids was so hard. So hard. You're so in it. You're so new to it because it's only you, and I have 4. So there's an X years that I've been father. And it's just, you're so overwhelmed, so tired, so much life on that, it's hard to actually create space. And I get so I want to understand out there that I know coming from like about as place as it can when working on it. So it's not super, but it's definitely worth it, and that's all from the other side.
How cool working on, you said earlier, your who's the most like you got received this behavior change from you, because your program habits aren't taught from what we do, and how cool he gets to receive this program upgrade. The one the most like gets to watch you through this and get to receive this new thing from you. we man, it's the best we can do. So it brings to what you've got on your shirt there, which is fatherhood, man. It's honestly harder to kill and also easy enough to balance this. What does that mean to you? And what brought that to you?
That's been my family's motto for like the past 10 years. We're just sitting around. I come from the space, and there's a harder to kill mentality around it, but to me, it was a double-sided, and it's like you want to be physiological, much more difficult to kill, much more resilient. You want to be stronger, you want to be faster, you want to be, healthier, you want to sleep, you want to optimize your physical health. But there's another side to that, should always be coupled with my mind, which is easier to love, being able to connect with the world in a meaningful way and communicate with, being able to, capable offer so much more than just blunt force, which is like the harder to kill. And so it's for us a good all-encompassing phrase of like the choices the things that we to pursue, and that we have all be around being resilient, hard to kill, capable, and all, but also easier to love. It means at times being softer, communicating, other times harder, but just having the ability to do both of those things seem like two sides of the coin into being a good human and good partner, good father. That's been our motto, our family, for a long time. And that's all it means to me.
I love that DM yesterday. I think, man, I fuck this so much because it relates to concepts of masculinity, of what it is, man. One, if you look up this state, like 1950s, working dad, dominant and provide, and like everybody is subjected to him. If this theory, and we've got states coming out of feminist movement where relax into feminine nature a bit more. We with the flow a bit more. We connect with our feelings, and there's been pushback to the level of masculinity, and we need to hard again. But what you're saying is that we need to both. That's what I'm hearing from you. But what are the and that's stage 3 is having the best to both minimize the aspects because we have toxic aspects. My question is some things that we do to bring that harder to ness that's so necessary for and easier to nest that nerve.
I think the harder stuff to me is like continued velocity with all of distance, right? So it's like I physiological goals around the being healthy and connected and having joy and like all those things help us be kill. So in order to find things, you have to, and you can't, hunker down an ideology or hunker down methodology, whatever it is. Any of the ologies, they need to be examined in different ways and taking from all of them all possible. Also think with regards to that, like it takes. So this is kind of outside this. Me, I think there's a very wide spectrum of answers and ways of being. And I don't think you need to fall directly into one. I do think there are a lot of people who, as they head a direction, they start to embody that deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. So they're open minded or not. And I think that us need to stay in the middle. That way we can take from other parts and bring them into opening up sides. And saying this is that like it's easy to get wrapped up in being a puncture and going to one side. I don't have a fully thought on this, but and I wrestle with time of like I love work and I love all that you do, but you've got a shawl, blue block, and we did 7 minutes of work before thing, and it's like that's too for a lot of people, and I see the value in all, but I want a medium in between. Where, like if someone like more that guy who like how do I do stuff and I need the glasses, and I'm like no, the glasses. But the concept of glasses is for health, like stimulate, less hitting your eyes, a lot like understand it all, but not necessarily fully head so that make people hard to kill who never would examine that stuff, never examine the quality of foods that they're eating, never would have examined stuff. And on the east side of things, I think there's good standing of like we get so caught up the not the past, but the that we had and the models that we had. It's really hard to see there's other models there, and so much of that easier to love stuff I believe is examining self, but being okay with self. I think first step is loving yourself. You can simultaneously love yourself, not think that you're there. Think that that's a thing for some people. Right? Is like, I love myself. I want to be better. That doesn't mean I'm a bag. It means that I think that there's for improvement. And to me, should be how we navigate relationships. And just know, like, put your down a little bit and be like, oh, this is where I'm going to hold my ground value structure. And then other times where it's like, that's not me anymore. And I need to learn how to communicate with the world in a way. And so the love side is me a bit more malleability around our own interactions with the world, a psychological and communicative. And I went in weird directions, but
great. It's I think it's you the other day with Troy. Like, how do we be to be others? And then we ended up talking about Tesla and so just weird as going that. So self-love, such an important thing, as a nebulous thing for so many. Like, how do I do that? What recommendations for developing that and the same mindset of that we can learn to love for ourselves, we can do that for kids. So what does that mean to you? How to cultivate more than love?
Yeah, man. So this is one that I don't know if I have the answer for, because I think given to me mother, my mom and my parents, they unconditionally loved me. So like there was no boundary on it. It was just without fail what I did to a fault. Like if I could go and be like F you mom, blah blah, and she'd be like you too, sort of. There were those boundaries. So I think that was given to me is like a gift by what my parents, and they were parents necessarily getting. So this is the gift that me was that sense of self-love. So I don't know if I'm the best person to advise on how to love myself. My work had done around seeing and loving people up myself. And that was the work I had to do in order to be more easy to love, not loving of, but that's a good foundation. And I know a lot of people are in a place where they never loved themselves, and that to me would be probably if I was, but I wish I could offer there. It's just inappropriate for advice there. I've had that love. I mean, things about myself sometimes, but not on a core level to where it's like always to agree. My work more around how not be an arrogant and actually love the people around me. And father just, based to the knees, that boy right there. So in loving the people around me.
Yeah. How do you show up and love the little ones, your wife around you? Yeah.
I mean, it's just constantly looking around to see if I can be better, whether work on self, be doing the thing like the breath work, the eating healthy. That way I can live longer and reduce the risk of things, and like work out more so that I've got my physical testosterone levels to where they need, where I can act with the world. That I'm not wanting to everything's head. Like working in a job, find meaningful. Like there's many things that I'll allow to show up more. The number, of course, is being isn't always easy, especially in today's day. I mean, we're talking on the phone, little freaking here that I'm trying to figure out how to navigate, having some more with that. But I think being present, I think journal huge. I think taking care of yourself so that way, like your need, figuring out what fills your cup, making sure you're getting the amounts appropriate so you can let yourself a bit and jump into the family. Those type of things are huge.
Those two last things I want to ask you about something too. Those things really are cohesive to me in that the more we have a relationship with ourselves, relationship we have with our kids, like for instance, and filling our cup by living that's ourselves, we have more in our cup to give little ones and to our wife. What you said, self for you, that was giving it or paying it. And one of the things that's so important for us is to give to the love the thing we may have needed. It's to heal the wound and be as like, man, or hey, things gonna be okay. And the path that these things, love in this case, there's no one. You said at the very beginning, there's no way to do this. This has been snowball experiment with these habits. For first listening right now, your path be to outwardly more.
Yeah.
Or maybe inwardly more. I want to know journaling. I want to know what habit looks like for you right now. Willing to explore that.
Sure, man. Yeah. Mine's not profound. I don't prompts or anything like that. I sit down once a day or in the morning. And I live life to where one of those two pop up quite quickly. Journal file. I love journals. Life I've written that. I would write for a week, but never write again. So probably 60 journals that have like 2 full. Oh, but I did like a pretty awesome about 2 ago where I did this men's group thing where we went off. We did an insane amount of in that. That was our was focused on. And since then, cracked the seal. It's been something that's very easy for me to do. So the way I don't with the intent to do necessarily. I just think a lot. And so when come into my head, I'll on and pop those into it and wait on them a bit. I find myself not having journal for haven't for a bit. I'll do is down and be like, it's on my mind right now. And then I'll write stuff out, usually prompt for journal. It's not, like I said, particularly found, but it allows me to collect in a way that I pretty, fair winds crossing. Doesn't count as journaling. It counts as journaling. Writing, journaling. Let's see. Hold on. That comment. I'm trying to read it. about I find what love is. Self-love is not possible and hard to comprehend. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I can't personally relate because I've never done that. And that's so damn difficult. I think that, my mom, um, she's how now, my mom born again, which is an interesting one, and she's having this big connection with faith and spirituality because she's doing her best to ignore some of the damage that was done to her as a child. Finds a lot of beauty in the, and that's what finds it. I'm there watching her journey. She's like 7 and she's through all this, 6 years old and still on those. But what I've heard talk about finding is where her parents were showing her love, but it was the only way that they knew how. Wasn't through the physical touch, whatever it was through these like little things that like always driving them to school, like something like that, where they made them to do that, or even though they didn't have a ton of money, they were, they always made sure that birthday felt special for some reason, and like even though it's a small thing, everything else I've experienced in terms of the love of my mom, I could not wait to love my mom. She's been finding those loves and looking back on it. It's super hard. What they express.
Yeah, older guys, we see brother.
I don't know if that was.
Yeah. So the healing is so powerful. It gives you an idea of the problems that you're running. The brain is great. I love the of what's happening inside me right now, which is essentially what you're doing when you open it and you write. It gives you an idea of what's happening inside of the mind. And then these things aren't anymore. They surprise you, and then all of a sudden, concrete, you can work on them to make change in your life. So powerful. I'm going to transition in the last couple of years here to father's guild, man. I want to know the story behind father's guild, and the story behind what is the father's guild? What are you building for us with that?
For sure. Before that, I want to one more thing on journey that I found fascinating. When I read my journal, I read the same thing over and over and over again. And I didn't realize that. And I don't think that, hey, I'm writing this again. Like, I want to be different, write down what I want to be different. Sudden, like 6 months down, I'll write down I want to be different. I'll write down my want to be different. Find the patterns. And I think that part of what's allowed me to make all these changes I've made in the past few years is I'm moving it forward, making it real, writing it. All of a sudden, I've changed everything. But I'll do 2 of those things. And I'll be like, whoa, different than I was. Like, look at when I read it, it's like, is it what it sounds like in my head? Like, is this are you repeating this shit? Like, I'm not. Where? But when I write it, for some reason, it comes out like that. If you're like, hey, I want to work every day, or I want things, even if you do it, because I do it for years. You're putting it, try it for do these things. You slowly on thing to thing, and eventually, like, start working. And that's where I think I'm at, which is pretty fast. Anyway, that was one thing. You're talking about the this was actually like a public facing journal. That's what I started. It was just like thoughts on because I thought I like to create. I'm creative and I put stuff out. And I about parenting, fatherhood, and I think constantly. I write stuff down. I just started putting my on fatherhood. Not how you have to do it. This is just doing. And just tiny little, and then that yell challenge thing went oddly viral, and so that gave me like 1,000 followers on that single account. What's cool is everyone here wants to about fatherhood, to like and being intentional father a little bit. And anyone who wants to do that or wants to look at it and what are we doing? I think that's awesome. I don't have answers, but I tinker and I think that's what I'm trying to do here. I don't really know where I'm going with it all. I'm happy and I'm enjoying the process.
It's I want to act the intentionality. That's important. We're important energy. There's a really large segment of who are starting to wake up and realize they want to be more intentional. So, what does it mean to you to be more intentional as a
I think it to things on. I think our life is reactionary, where we're just funding based off of our own shit or greatness, whatever it is. For me, I think that there's so much gain from being like, what response? Was that the right? Like, what's going on here? And I know people can overthink it in their head and be by choice, blah, but that's not where I go. I like to examine and I go, was that the right? And then, yeah, it was, or wasn't, you know? And yeah, DLC says like intention, self-awareness. It's like being aware that there are multiple different avenues for you to navigate this thing of good and choosing intention, choosing purpose, the avenue that you're going to, because it's really easy to just let it happen. But I like personally not to just happen. I'd like to be like either that and why that happened, can I make it again, or that to happen again, or be like that and it happened this and that and I lose that, I did that on purpose and I will get in the future. You know, so to me is intentionality. It's just like doing stuff on purpose, and I think you can take that systematic self-information that you can apply in many areas of life and do that with fatherhood. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, it's fathering on purpose. Fathering on purpose. Paul Chak had wisdom on the awareness. There's our where we're in space, where we are, of how we're bring tension. It's like we're walking a dog on a leash and we're like, I want over there. So we put the intent. We get to bring ourselves, bring our kids, whatever it is that we hire, taking that and that intention is really where we are, and then show on purpose, implement changes on purpose as much as we really can, and maybe it's a yelling change. We're going to pay your $5 every time you do.
Yeah. Maybe. How funny is it down to words? I find it, but I also find it super cool.
Yeah.
Where it's people down and they piece and they're like, this is meaning. I'm like, made up word. Like it's I do appreciate finding meaning, but it's a word 7 times over with a Latin, which also made up. But like I love the examination of all, and I love how serious some take it. And I love that for some people, they hear something, they'll turn their head, they were like, oh my God, I'm going to pay attention. And they're different. How cool is that? Like this thing is so funny.
Human.
It's
fathering so sweet. Cool parts, serious and just fun. Just fun, man. We get to play games and yeah, crazy. Brother, that's all I got for anything else coming up.
Nah, man. To do the thing, just living and try to love it, and you know, realizing that I'm gonna someday. That's the only given, and let's go. Let's. I'm watching these kids. Like, I have this photo of my kids sitting on the bed with my wife after opening Easter baskets. And, like, that's the happiest I have, man. Like, and it happened a couple days ago. Just insane how amazing this opportunity to be dad is, if we want it to be. It's hard. These little things, these times that you watch, and they're go away real fast. So I can enjoy it, man.
Yeah, man. Behind the blink of an eye, literally. All right, brother. Can we find what you're up to and get involved with the Guild, where that's going?
Yeah, you can find the Father's Guild Instagram account. That's the main thing. I have a called the Father's Guild. You're welcome. Not much there. This sick will be there.
Yes.
I don't think it's for sale, but it's there.
Get it up. We all want Father's gear.
I'm in. Put it up.
All right, brother. Appreciate you very much. You for being. I'm sure everybody that's right now is great for you to be here.
Thank you for having me, man.
Someday, man.
You.
Thank you.